Hi everyone, I am Sandhya, Department of Mathematics. Today we are going to see about the Fourier Sine Transform and Fourier Cosine Transform. In this previous class we saw what is Fourier Transform and inverse Fourier Transform. So in this class we are going to see what is Fourier Sine Transform and Cosine Transform. In this Fourier Sine Transform, the Fourier Sine Transform of f of z is defined by, so it is a sine transform. So in this suffix we include s. So fs of s equal to fs of f of x equal to root 2 by pi 0 to infinity f of x sine sx into dx. Okay, in the inverse Fourier sine transform, fs of s is given by f of s root 2 by pi 0 to infinity fss of sine sx into ds. Okay, so here, so if it is a sine, so we put under the suffix we include s. Okay, so this is the Fourier transform formula. Next we are going to see about the Fourier cosine transform. The Fourier cosine transform of f of x is defined by fc of s equal to fc of f of x equal to root 2 by pi f of x cos sx into dx. The inverse Fourier cosine transform of fc of s is given by, so f of x equal to root 2 by pi 0 to infinity fc of s into cos sx into dx. So similarly we want to find the Percival identity. In the Percival identity of the Fourier sine and cosine transform is 0 to infinity, it is half range. So we put general cases minus infinity to infinity, it is 0 to infinity. Okay, so it is a half range. So the sine and cosine transform, so it is particularly we asking Fourier sine and cosine, we the general is as minus infinity to infinity, but particularly asking sine and cosine we put 0 to infinity. Okay, so in this f of s is the Fourier transform of f of x is defined by 0 to infinity f of s x the whole square. So it is the integral based upon as x, the function is x involving, so in the integral is dx. So in this, see the right hand side 0 to infinity fs of s the whole square, here the function is involving s, so we put ds. Okay, so next cosine transform, so here also we use the same formula, but in this suffix we include c. Okay, next we see some basic problem for the Fourier sine and cosine transform problem. Find the Fourier sine transform of f of x is defined as f of x equal to 1 0 if 0 less than or equal to x less than 1 and x greater than 1. So in this sine transform, fs of s equal to root 2 by pi 0 to infinity f of x sine sx into dx. Here the f of x is 1. So the 1 is including the interval is, so 0 to 1 the 1. So in this minus infinity to infinity we replace 0 to 1. Understood? So next root 2 by pi 1 sine sx into dx. The integrating of sine sx is cos sx, that is the minus cos x into dx. So here we replace x instead of 1. So minus cos x minus into plus cos 0 equal divided by s. So root 2 by pi 1 minus cos s divided by s. Okay, next we are going to see second problem. Find the Fourier sine transform of 1 by x. It is very important problem. So fs of s equal to root 2 by pi minus infinity to infinity is a general case, but it is a sine series, so we put 0 to infinity. So here the range is not given, so we use 0 to infinity only. This previous one the limit is given, so we use that limit. So in this problem there is no limit is given, so we use 0 to infinity. The f of x is 1 by x sine sx into dx. Here we solve this problem as a substitution method. In this substitution, y equal to sx equal, okay, y equal to sx. So it is, so y equal to sx. Here we want to find what is x. X is nothing but y by s. Okay, so similarly we want to find d theta is s into dx. So d theta divided by s equal to dx. So root 2 by pi 0 to infinity, that is after substitution we get sin theta by theta into d theta. So here the 0 to infinity sin theta by theta d theta value is, the value is pi by 2. So here the root 2 by pi into pi by 2. So here see So this is root 2 by pi. So root 2 by root 2 by root pi. So pi is root pi divided by root 2 root 2. Root 2 root 2 get cancel, pi cancel. So the answer is pi by 2. Okay, so next similarly we are going to see another one problem. Find the Fourier transform of 2e minus 3x plus 3e minus 2x using the Fourier sine transform, that is a Fourier cosine transform. So fc of s equal to root 2 by pi 0 to infinity f of x into cos sx into dx. Here the f of x value is 2e minus 3x plus 3e minus 2x. So after splitting into the split up interval, so root 2 by pi 2 0 to infinity e power minus 3x cos sx into dx. You know the formula. So if it is cos involving, so we put 3 divided by s square plus 9, so plus 3 2 divided by s square plus 4. So the final answer is root 2 by pi 6 plus s square plus 9 plus 6 divided by s square plus 4. Okay, thank you.